zoom out too.
Gotcha. All right, welcome everybody to K Chung Radio, the next chapter with Wes from the Vine Tree. Today we got a guest.
Hi, I'm Fran. What's up?
Hey, how's it going, everybody? You know, Chris couldn't make it today, and neither could Mari, but you know they're here in spirit. You're rocking out for them.
What happened to them? Are they out doing something else?
Yeah, well, Chris is actually in Monterey, not for the performance, but he's out there visiting friends and whatnot. But also, we were gonna perform with him too in Monterey.
Bummer.
But you know, next time we'll be back out there soon. It's a great vibe out there. I like it going back out there. Honestly, this summer out here has felt very Monterey Bay.
Actually, though, yeah. Weirdly enough, I'm like thinking.
About that yesterday.
I was like, what should I wear? I feel very like San Francisco-y vibes right now.
But yeah, no cap. It's like it's like been gloomy the last like month, and I feel like it's strange because like usually you know that happens in the beginning of like June or May. Yeah. Sometimes it's like it's coming, like it's coming. You know?
That's way too long.
Shit. But like, yeah,
I need the sun. I need some vitamin D, bro. Like this sucks. I'm being sad out here for no reason.
I dig it though, cause I like rocking flannels and shit like that in this time of the year. I don't know. I feel like it's more like it's more. Like it fits my aesthetic more, like you know what I'm saying. Like I like to be bundled up and wear different layers and stuff. I like summer clothes, but it's like you only got one move, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
t-shirt, shorts,
easy. Like it's not very as complicated as I would like it to be.
Yeah,
but, you know.
I like layers for sure. There's only like when it's hot, there's only so much you could take off. And it'd be like, okay.
You know, so thank you to everybody that just tuned in earlier, was rocking with the jams before this. Because, you know, we actually are not going to be playing music today. Is the new switch of the switch of the vibe. But, you know, it's a kind of a good experience because we get to talk at least about, you know what I'm saying, the music that we got coming out. Because I was going to talk to you about that before this, but, you know, we can do everything on the fly right now.
Yeah, for real.
I was going to say that when we were going to play music, something we should do is play some of the shit from, like, our album, like my album that's dropped and your album that's about to come out.
Yeah.
Because, you know, that would be, like, a cool
sneak
vibe.
Peek it a little bit.
We might even, like, be able to sauce that into the video. You know what I'm saying? Probably put this in the beginning, put that after. Finish it smooth. You know what I'm saying?
That works. There's editing, post-production stuff.
but yeah, no, because it's a good. I'll say it's a good year. At least for me, I feel like a lot of shit has happened this year in like a pace that I like enjoy it to be happening at. Like it's not like say in like other years there's been like where you have the expedited growth. You know what I'm saying? And then you get very like nervous at that and like kind of scared in the moment because I feel like it's like shit is moving really fast and then there's times where like you kind of feel stagnated and shit where you're like, damn, I haven't been doing shit the way I want to do it. But I feel like this past year has been like right in the middle level of that like I needed to be, where like I've been grinding, but I know like I haven't been like speeding through the grind, but I also haven't been like, how do you say, like I also haven't been chilling. Like I know I've been like doing a bunch of shit here and there, you know. So
but it doesn't feel forced.
Yeah,
you know, like now you kind of have like your second wind of everything. Like now you know what's happening. Now you know how you want to expedite it. Now like it's just easier. Like instead of just getting your feet wet, because it feels like it's everything at the same time all the time. Now there's a plan. Now you got, hey, like this is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do, marketing wise, production wise. This is a sound I want to go for, and like even so, like now you're more free of the creativity. Like you could do whatever because now you got. I feel
like it also helps being surrounded though by like other creators and other people like kind of doing the same thing, because it's like when we kick it, we all be on the same type of mission. Like, oh, you got this album, you want to put this out, you want to promote this in this way. Oh, we got this music video to shoot. Like it helps kind of like round out your dream that you're making happen. You know what I'm saying? Like it kind of like rounds out the corners of it. Like it's like, okay, boom. Like when it gets a little shaky, like everyone else is like, all right, well, this is how I would figure this part out, or this is how you would figure this part out. And lately it's been like a year full of that. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's been a year full of everybody kind of meshing together and working together to get towards the goal. And that feels a lot different than when you're like, I feel like on the outside of your goal working towards it. You know what I'm saying? Like at least that's how I always felt for me and Mari. Like going into it, you know what I mean? Like it felt like a lot of being like, okay, it's just you, it's just us, and we got to figure out how to put everything that's inside of us into this music and then make it grow further than this. But I feel like now it's been like, so it's a line from the Smino song that I take like to heart all the time, like on the No L shit, where he's like, he was like, we've got more community than comp around here. We got motion. You know what I'm saying?
That's nice.
Like it's like, and it's a way that he says it that's like, it's more community than comp around here. We got motion. Like that's just like, that's like, I feel that line, like, you know what I'm saying, where it's like, damn, you talking about like everyone you're going around, like it feels like a good energy surrounding it. Like, it feels like a community rather than like a bunch of people like trying to one up each other or like be on some shit like that.
Exactly. I mean, now everyone I feel like that we're making music with is like on the same playing field in a sense. Like we finally found that community that you're talking about, that like everyone is aspiring to do something bigger and better for themselves, that it's not just, someone else's kind of bringing it down, or like someone's just not at that, like, no, that other person isn't challenging you is really what it is. Like now we're in a group that, everyone wants the best for themselves and for everyone else. So, we're going to try to pitch in our own ideas about like how we market something or how we go about producing something or the way we mix. Like we're finally heard, it's not like you gotta, try to not necessarily dumb down, but like eat like lighter of the sense. Like now you can actually go into like everything that and like try it out and then see if it works and if everyone likes it. But it's definitely like there's a mutual respect now. Like there's like, I respect you for your art, and it's a really cool feeling that way.
That brings me to like an interesting question, I guess, like going to in somewhat of an interview sense, even though I know it's just like a conversation, but like, how was it for you, like, working on, like, your music video, like, as a whole for your album, like, that process? Like, 'cause I feel like that was, like, was it the same to, like, processes you've been through before shooting music videos? Was it different? Like, is that, like, why do you feel that's important? Like, basically, like, the idea of, like, the combining them, you know what I'm saying? Like, into, like, something like that, like, a bigger piece.
My introduction to music videos was actually from someone I went to school with. She wanted to record one of my songs and do a music video for it. So it was very school-based. And then after, like a couple years after, all of a sudden I was in someone was taking their masters for like film. And so it was a way bigger production. There was way more people. Like it was definitely like time-based. Like everything's like going like, there's always like a set thing for it. And then for my own stuff, when I finally got to, be like the creative handler for it, I'm very much of a free. Someone's going off right now.
It's a real like opera session behind us. That's pretty fire.
That's so cool. But like, I'm very much of a free will type of person. Like I just flow. So there was an idea. There was a broad idea. Like let's go to like Santa Monica and film, and then see what happens from there. And then somehow it tied into like a love thing, because that's all I ever talk about. But like, I don't know, like doing the music videos and probably like finding how to balance that with even just my music, like just releasing things. I have to, see what works for other people. Like I had to research a couple of these, like how do I release things, kind of way. And then just figure out what works for me.
But how was it like, how do I say, like, working on your music videos in a way that's so connected to your album and, like, weaving them together? Because I feel like I've seen, like, you go into it versus, like, you go into it on, like, the big idea for this specific music video, which I've seen you do, like, where you'll kill, like that dance one you guys did was really cool. Body talk. Exactly. Yeah. Like, some shit like that versus, like, where you're making them be all kind of, like, the same thing connected, like.
The cool thing about an album and putting it together is that you already have a concept. Like you already have like a vibe or a feeling that you're trying to portray. So by going and kind of putting a musical kind of standpoint to it, or like a visual standpoint to it, it kind of helps a little bit more, like as an artist, to express that and like go through what you're going through in the motion while you were making those songs. So it's a little bit easier of a concept to pull out of yourself, because you were in that moment while you were writing that song. How are you feeling? Like what were you doing? So then you kind of try to translate that in a more visual aspect. So I think it kind of just ties in together already because you already have the album. And so you're just having those music videos drop. The one by Body Talk, though, that wasn't from like an album that I was working on. That was I was working with another person.
More so,
yeah,
right?
yeah, it was for them. So I was like, all right, like this is their concept. Like this is what their vibes are.
Gotcha.
So we just bring that out into more of a visual.
So I feel like a better example of that would probably be like with the song where I'm blanking on the name, but I know the music video, like, you know, you're on the Ferris wheel, you and Derek are on the Ferris wheel. What's the name of the song?
That one's I don't wanna be alone.
Like that, like that's one where it's like more like your song, but it's like more your like that one. Was it like having to do with an album or connecting to other music videos, or more had to do with just that vision of that song? Like
honestly, like I had planned 3 singles out of that album. Already going into it, I was like, what works and what doesn't? What can I play live and what I can't? Like there's something to also that like what you can play live, like people can actually go back to, and it's like, you know, those are your popular ones, and you push those songs as much as you can. But honestly, like going through that music video, it was like, what's the next idea? What's the next idea? It was very open, like. Yeah, so those 3 songs are already like an idea, and then I wanted to put them together in a sense, like in a time lapse kind of sense.
What do you like enjoy more, like being in like the creative side of the music videos, or being on like the acting side of the music video?
I used to do theater, so I loved acting. I love putting myself. This is why I love performing, is because you get to be back to where you were when you first wrote the song. And you kind of get to like emote it even more and like really perform it and like have other people see how you react to those feelings and then them like reacting as you're going through it. Yeah. Like I think that's a really cool part. But I don't know. I think with the creative side, the ideas, I like to hear from other people too the most. So it's not like I'm the only person who has.
It's like I get really nervous like in doing the music video part, but I kind of enjoy like the concept. Yeah. Like conceptualizing it more than sometimes I enjoy actually like when I'm in it doing it. Like sometimes I feel so like, I don't know, like out of character, but I like it sometimes. Like it depends. Like I've had like those experiences with like say like Lauren. Like shout out to Lauren. We got another music video we're gonna do with him when he gets back from his trip. But there's like a feeling, I don't know, when someone is really into the script themselves or really into like the shooting of this, that makes you want to like take it to another level, that like sometimes I have seen that brought out of me where I really feel like, okay, this moment right here, just like let go fully and then be in it, and then like you'll love this later. But sometimes it's like, I guess it feels really hard to like combine the two of like what you should, come up with thematically and then what you're like gonna do in it. I feel like it's a little bit. I
think that's why my music videos are so loosely planned, because I'm there for the things that you don't really see on screen. Like those are the feelings I want to be seen on screen. So like, I don't know, when I was on and I don't wanna, the whole like ride of us like going on a ride was completely random, but like if it feels real, like kind of, I don't know, like you being happy and like this is what you usually see going off of that music video. I don't know, there's these feelings and like faces that you can make that you don't realize that you make until like you see it for yourself. And so I don't know, it's just feelings are weird because sometimes you don't want people to see it, but that's exactly what I want to do.
I will say that like I saw that post that you sent me like earlier on the way for you, and that's exactly like what I feel about like music and life. And I feel like that's what it every time you're trying to express yourself through a medium of art, like that's what you got to try to strive for, like that feeling, like basically focusing on like what it is, like wherever you are as an artist, whatever you are as like musician, like it that's the goal, like you focusing on the feeling you give somebody through this medium, like and honestly, for me, it's always been like that. Like the feeling that like I get from certain artists or certain things that I'm really, really into on an emotional level. That's what made me want to make music. So it's like I try to cling to that when I'm making music because it's like I know at the least like if you're not into this sound or you're into that sound or not, like, but if you can feel whatever emotion the person is trying to express, you relate to that.
You know that's super easy. Yeah, like when you go to a club, you don't expect to hear like sad songs. You know, the people who like made the club want you to feel happy, so there's a bunch of bangers that are happening.
Exactly, like they're relating to the emotion.
Like,
like you know what I mean. Like
the
they're there,
vibe,
it's lit, like it's a vibe. Like or you know you're there and you're playing this song and this is what's got you in this mood.
Yeah, and that's exactly how I put together sets too. You know, you think about like what mood or what like atmosphere do you want these people to be in when you're performing, and so you tap into that, and then you really see like you've seen the performances that I've had, and people are like.
No, it's fun. How do you feel like in those moments? Like I feel like everybody feels different, but like how do you feel in those moments when like you're done performing and like there's people in like awe and like amazing and like happy for you and like just like really like geek, like really just like
I mean
like obviously it makes you feel good, but like is there a sense of nervousness? Is there a sense of like accomplishment, fulfillment? Is there a sense of like what I'm saying? Like how do you like feel?
It's more so like I want people to feel like they're important because they came here, like they took their time, they took their money, like they came here. So like I want to be able to do the one-on-ones with everyone, but it's so hard because there's a bunch of people sometimes. But ultimately, like in my like introverted sense, I like would just rather go back into another room and just like sit quietly.
And it does make me feel kind of nervous. Like I don't know why, and it's weird because it's like you're on stage and you're like it feels very like your energy gets boosted when you're on there and you're giving it your all for sure. But then in that last moment of like, it feels like so much like in once of everybody like trying to say what's up to you and you like that point. But I feel like people kind of know like now, like at least with me, like I'll just walk right by everybody.
You kind of have to build that.
Like, I'll just walk right by everybody and just post up right in the cut and be like, all right, what
honestly,
up? And then they'll be like, yo, that was dope. And I'll be like, yeah, bro, thanks for hell yeah. Like,
there's also something
because it's like I want to like do that, but I just don't want to do it on such a like scale, like
for sure. And like like you said, it takes so much energy. Like you already got the attention of everyone. Like now it's time to like
I'm
push
coming
it
down
back
from that.
off.
I'm like I'm just like like
that's the come down.
Exactly. That's just how it feels. But at the same time, it's like I don't know. I enjoy that feeling. One of the things I guess I enjoy the most out of that particular is like say outside of like someone saying you did really good or bad. It's like when someone says like the way you spoke or said that your music or sang made them feel in a way like their favorite artist does. You know what I'm saying? Like that's happened to me at certain times, and then that makes me feel really good because I'm like, wow, like I could tell that they're like they believe in you in that moment. You know what I mean? Like in that moment, they're like, well, I really believe in you. Like there's someone else that I really rock with and believe with to this level, and you give me those kind of feelings. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's like it's kind of more. It feels a little more personal to me because I know it's like. That's something that just means something to you. What you got going on, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that means you like pierced something in their like memory or their veins that like made them think, holy shit. And also, also the fact that like that you could be related to someone who's already up there. Like you can establish this already. So that's a cool little like power you got. Yeah,
that's like a cool feeling. But I feel like it all goes back to the feeling thing. Is that you know what I mean? There's certain artists that people have really strong emotional connections to, and a lot of people have told me when they hear me, they're like, I can see that in that way for you. And that's what made me want to keep leaning into that direction more. You know what I'm saying? Because like you dibble and dabble and you try different things and people be like, yo, but when you do that, like that's something. You know what I'm saying? And that doesn't mean, like, I feel like everybody has that moment when they're like, you know, because we could all, we're multifaceted. You can do a lot of different things. But it's like certain things people do. It's like, when you do that, like there's that one song you do that it's like regardless of how it like appeals as far as like I don't know what genre that shit is, but the one where it's like wild
Paradise.
No, it's like it's really slow. No, it's really slow.
Which one? Really slow.
It's like super slow, and then you start like
War Game.
Yes, War Game. That's the name of the song. That's what I was gonna say. Like that's what I mean. Where it's like I don't really know what to classify that like genre as, but like that feeling is something that I feel like is like undeniable to someone watching a show.
That's
you know what
cool.
I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
that's
they're
awesome.
watching the show and they can like it just like makes you feel like what? Like what?
Yeah,
Like,
I think theater helps. I think theater helps with that. Like, because I get really into it. Like, sometimes I just forget my words. Like, I don't have to think about them anymore, which is really cool. But like, then I get too into it, and then I'm crying.
That song makes you like go grab a water. Like at the bar, you're like, let me get like a water, like a cigarette. Like
I know, honestly, it's like grabbing a cigarette right after.
A little sober, like sobering.
No, yeah, that song is really intense. Honestly, I think about like, I was just thinking, damn, I write like a 40-year-old sometimes. Like that
in that
song.
bag, in that bag, it's like very like, you know.
Yeah, like it's very.
Serious.
I mean, also like I like Adele too, and I see like the appeal that she has on people, and how her songs are basically timeless. Like you can listen to that shit anytime.
But that's something about you're multifaceted. But there's certain bags that people hit that you can see the emotional connection in people to those bags, much like very strong.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I've been through that shit. Like,
exactly, like because like there's everybody loves their songs, but you see that shit and people are just like they be about to cry. Like you know what I'm saying? Like they be about
I mean
to
that
cry.
song is about what? Like someone comes in and you're cheating. This guy is cheating on you, and then like you have to realize that this isn't what you think it is anymore. Like it's either you stay or you go. Like that shit is tough. Like it's not a very happy situation. But I'm glad that like other people can feel it too. Like that pain sucks.
Damn. So would you be down if you had a show and then like a bunch of people came to you like crying after? Or some
I'm so
shit?
down.
Yeah, because I feel like I'd be down too. Like I'd be like, you know what? Like, hey man, like let's be all in this together, bro. Like,
I'm here for the feels. Cry. Honestly, a couple of people have come up to me and been like, yeah, I cry every time you sing. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, that's pretty cool. Yeah, like, you get me. Like, that's also that feeling, too. Like, I'm not alone in this. Like, you understand what I'm going through. And, like, I'm sorry that you had to go through that same thing, if that is the reason why you're crying. But, like, yeah, that's really why I write music, is for me to not feel alone. It's for other people to not feel alone. And somehow, like, the way I put my words together is relatable, and that's really cool. That's all I want from music.
Damn. I mean, not to like switch off of like this tangent, but one thing I feel like we honestly want to talk about that I forgot to mention is like, how is it like collaborating with like Derek, like in like Speakeasy for those that don't know the boy, but like in a like long-term sense. Like I feel like you guys have like songs that I've seen you perform that are like damn near like classics to me. So it's like cool. I wonder, how does it like do you guys bunch certain songs you guys make in like a certain like secret album file? Do you guys be like, nah, like damn, this one is just like you going with the intent of like what you guys are making already to be like, all right, this song, like I'm just fucking around right now, I don't really care about this, or it's like, oh, we should make this kind of song, like, you know what I mean? Like how does that go down?
I mean, honestly, you probably just have to sit us together in a room. Like we have to choose to sit together.
Yeah, I'm saying that like I don't know how that goes down.
Yeah. Well, no, because like, you know, we're in a relationship, so we don't always want to mix business and pleasure at the same time.
I feel that.
So like we both are artists individually, and so that's what our outside like life is. So when we're together, there's very rare moments when we do get together, but when we do, it's fucking insane. Like it's really fun, especially now that we're getting like used to our abilities, like honing in on our abilities, and we're getting better, and how to communicate is getting better, because it is a relationship. So like you can't necessarily, I don't know, bring like some kind of like, you can't be too nice sometimes in the business aspect. That
so it's like not how you say, like it's not willy-nilly.
No,
your collaboration together, still, it's very like
I mean, it's still very random, but it's
you guys treat it with care.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's an expectation thing that goes with himself and me myself, that like if this doesn't go well, then it's fine, but like I know we could do better kind of attitude. Like I know that
I definitely feel like I see that when you guys make music. It's definitely like you guys have like a high bar for yourself, for each other, which is cool though. You know what I mean? Like you guys are really like, nah, like it could be doper. Like
yeah, he's a Capricorn and I'm a Virgo, and we both kind of like are just business people, and like we're very communicative, but we also piss each other off for no reason. Like we bicker, and that's kind of like our love language sometimes. So like sometimes we have to back off from each other and like let some space happen, let some creativity happen. Like especially I'm very like, you do this type of person. So when he's like producing and I try to like produce my vocals on top of like what he's doing, like sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes we just need to, I need to shut up and just have him take control and then see what happens after that. Like, there's definitely a lot more trust. The writing music, I don't know, it is still random. It is still like random times, but they're especially making mine.
Like that happens in general. Like with like even with me and Mauricio, like living together, it's like it's a lot different than not living together and making music. Where it's like boom, I'm like always hitting you up like every day trying to just record some shit, get some shit down.
Right.
Versus like, and when you live together, it's kind of different. Like you want to make music, but you're not like pressed on doing it every like second because you know it's like right there. So it's like you don't want to spoil. It's like anything. You don't want to spoil the experience just like continually hitting it. You know
right. Exactly. Like, yeah. You don't want to burn each other out either.
Yeah. Like
you already see each other all the time that, you know, you kind of know what the worlds of each other is. So it's, and that's a really cool thing about music too, and any art. Like it's all about just not having it be forced and just timing. Like,
bro, cause I would say even sometimes, like I was saying this, like even when I like say go to like your guys' stew or something, you know, like sometimes like I'll get in a different zone because it just feels like you're at work almost. Right. You know what I mean? Because you're like away from home. So it's like a different thing is in you where you're just like, okay, like you're grinding right now. Like you're not like you're not as in a like comfortable setting as like your pad. Yeah. Which like I feel like is always like happens to anybody when they put themselves in like a certain situation. Like, you know, like basically it's like uncomfortability in a way. Like it's not like it's uncomfortable, but like you're here like in a situation trying to get it out of you, like trying to, you know.
Yeah, I mean, if you like, I feel
like you guys have said that too, like even being at the pad sometimes. Like even Derek has expressed that being at the pad sometimes. So he just feel like he'll start working on the beat, just kicking it. But it's just because it's like you're there, you're in the vibe of like what's going on right now. It makes you just want to get to it, like
right, yeah. Like that's the same. Like just writing music. Like I don't want to force it. Like it's like a journal. Whenever I feel like writing in it, I'll write in it, and then something magical is gonna happen.
Yeah, one thing I feel like we also could touch on too is because tomorrow the roll-up video comes out on the new Tree Styles album by Divine Tree that just recently came out. And starring, you know, everybody that we currently talked about. Fran's in it. Derek's in
just
it.
Doing some hooligan things.
Shout out to Ian, your little brother, also made an appearance in it. And it's a cool video because it's connected to the other videos that we, you know, started to put out. At least the last one we put out, Sip and Spit, and the next one, Red Light, Green Light. And it's one of our first times finishing a project like that. We started one in our first album a while ago where it was going to be like a 2-part music video that was connected. And we did shoot some of it, but we didn't finish it. No. So, mainly because I moved to college. I moved like away. Yeah. And then I came back, and then we started doing other stuff. But that was one thing that I feel like we always felt like would, I don't know, add a deeper dynamic to what we were trying to do musically, because like a lot of the things we do musically are like thematic based. I feel like, you know what I mean? Like when you hear this stuff that's going on, like a lot of people be like, yo, this could be in a movie type thing, you know? So I always felt like if you want to do that, like then let's just like go out right and make it be a part of a movie. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so that way people can like get, you know, gauge the visual and really get a, you know, a gauge for it in a different way. So I think this is what a cool opportunity to get that across. And like I just want to know, like, how was it for you working, you know, with us on a like a Vine Tree type video?
It's really fun always. Like that, I think that's one of the things that attracted us to work with you guys, is just that you're just such fun guys and so real and down to earth that like, and like there's no pressure to do anything. You know, we knew what you wanted to get done and accomplished.
Me and Mari for sure just like bicker. We're like the only. Sure. That's like the only pressure.
That's what I've noticed.
Like us like going between about what should it be like for the thing. Like, all right, should we do it this way? Should we do it that way? Like,
yeah. No, I mean that's really funny to watch, to be honest.
That's like the work of like what. That's like our work.
And it's not like it's always gonna end up like you all be mad or anything. Like that's just how you communicate.
We just care about the shit like a lot, right? And then it's just like, damn, like it's both of us in it. Right. But yeah, that's I feel like the gist of probably like the most shenanigans things that pressure wise that happens on the music video. Like other than that, it's pretty like shit. We take all new ideas too. Like if anybody wants to suggest something, like it might end up becoming the way it is, like in the vid. Like,
yeah, I mean it was cool. I had a great time. I mean we were just like running around different spots and like having a good time. And
I like the shot when at the dartboard we write like the vine tree.
Oh yeah.
And then we draw the logo like and the chalk. It looks really cool. Like at the darts at the bar.
Okay,
like,
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
I think I was a little too young for that.
It's funny to think that like how like there was the whole like past that like we also went to the ball.
Sure,
got filming there. Met the people from a different like country that were like, yo, could we get the shot at the pool table?
Yeah, I just remember kicking it in like the parking lot.
Yeah.
And just like being in
that
a circle.
was like the start. We were just like, that was like the OG.
I just remember the start.
Yeah, because it was like a POV style video. You know, this will come out after the video, so it's cool. You guys will get to hear about it. But yeah, you know, we taped the camera to the boy, and you know, it was connected to another video, so it makes it seem like I was rapping and I walk out of the house with another dude that I was just kicking in my house with, and as we exit out the house, it switches to his point of view. But how we got that across is we taped the camera to his body. You want to do that yourself, and then that way you can just walk around with your friends and record it and then speed it up and do a bunch of things and then make a video out of it.
How did you even come up with that concept though?
Me and Mauricio bickering.
Really?
Yeah, we were talking about I think it might have been him for sure though, because I feel like we were talking about we were talking about how to film it, and because we had this idea for the video and we were going back and forth about what angle it would be. Like, would it be the angle on like from behind the driver's seat, you know what I mean, or would it be like a passenger?
Right.
And then the whole thing of Matt not being able to come and be in the video anymore and keeping the video continuity. Shout out to the boy Matt, because he didn't have his whip at the time, so then pretty much he couldn't like make it to the other video. So we're like, how are we going to keep this continuity? So it kind of had to do with that, like all of those things, and trying to figure out the way we could figure it out was, okay, what if we just put the camera on your body? That way you don't even know who that is. That's Matt.
Right. Yeah. Now you can kind of substitute someone in.
It fits in of like what angle we were trying to hit it, because that was my big concern of like, I feel like it wasn't gonna look right if it was because he wanted me to do it, and I was like, hey, I don't know if it's gonna look right if like I'm the one
you're not
driving.
In the video
like, I was like, how do we get everything in the video? Yeah, and then I'm not in it, so I was like, I don't know how it'll work, but. Exactly.
Yeah, it worked out. That's a really cool like concept though. I didn't even think about that at all.
That's really what I came up though, because we were like, all right, we should shoot it today, and then we talking about like, shoot it today. We're like, all right, well, what angle is it gonna be in? And then we're like, well, no, I think it should be this one. This one.
Did it?
We're like, what about we should put it on us? Yeah, it did. I think the first iteration of it was a little bit like bright, and then right now I just saw it today. Okay. It was like toned down a lot more. You know what I mean? Scaled back, more clear. Cool vibe, honestly.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. It comes out tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay. Hell yeah.
So
that's gonna be amazing.
That gonna drop, and then we have some more on the way. And then Red Light, Green Light is connected to that one. That's gonna drop next week. One thing we did change on it, which you guys will see later on, is that we were gonna make all the videos phone videos style. Oh. So they would all be like in that frame, and then they would all be connected. We still are, but we're gonna put that out with them all together connected.
Okay, cool.
Because he was able to basically make this one regular screen,
right? Which
he wasn't able to at first. Shout out to Mari, got it done. You know what I'm saying? So like now it's like regular screen. So he's like, you know what? Boom. We could just do individual. We could just do each individual one regular screen, and then we put it together as like a connected.
But you take it out every Friday.
Yeah, but that one I don't know exactly when we'll drop the like connected yet. We'll figure that in. Maybe we'll drop that in a little bit before me and Derek stay. But sure. Now I mean we can talk a little bit about that though. We haven't talked about that yet. Like how is it? How do you like so far mixing? How do you like mixing in general? Like, is that something you like enjoy? Do you dread it? Because I know you went to school for you like sauce.
Yeah. I mean, I graduated with an associate's in music production and sound design. Sound design part, I haven't gotten my feet wet, but I would love to touch on that at some point. But music production, like, I think the reason why I fell into it was probably because of GarageBand. When I was growing up, I was like, I just want to do everything on my own type of person. Like, I don't need no one. Fuck everyone. But then, like, slowly growing up, I'm like, damn, like, I need to actually collaborate with people. But it's also, like, nice to know that I can communicate in that sense, like, whether someone plays a guitar or piano, or whether it's going to be in a music production sense. Like, at least I have the vocabulary to be able to do that. And it's been really fun. like mixing in a sense, because Maori's been doing the actual moving of things. I've just been verbally talking to him.
But it seems to work in like such a crazy way when I see it like that, because it's like you have like the engineering brain to like know exactly what the fuck we might need to try or do, and then like Mari knows exactly how the fuck to do it. So it's like when you guys together, it's like some Voltron type shit. Like it's kind of crazy. Like it's like, but I get what you mean though. Like it's kind of wild to see like people's creativity in that field, like, you know what I'm saying, because it's like so like computer based in a way, but at the same time, damn, I just realized I try to tell people about this and they didn't even post it right now, so they didn't even know it's right now. Shout out to everybody. But nice. But one thing I was gonna say is that I feel like it taps into a different part of your brain that feels like it's not attached to like the extra creative side, but it really is. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of weird, like it's seeing how that combines with math and science, like numbers and all that, in the way that you gotta like look at the sound waves and all that, but you're adding in creativity at the same time as that always stumbled me as like, you know what I'm saying, as somebody, because I'm like, to me, like creativity is something that I draw from that really doesn't have much to do with like an analytical place, like where I'm like, damn, this means this and this means that. Like it has a lot to do with just like a lot of like feeling, and that's why I freestyle a lot and then scrap a lot of shit, because sometimes like, you know, you gotta sort through your feelings, right? So sometimes like I'm feeling some shit and I'm just resting it and I'm like, okay, now it's getting clear to what I truly feel. Yeah, no, I love puzzles. So I think of like music production as a puzzle. First I usually just pick a space, like where am I, or where do you want to hear this, where is this going to be played, like, so I do that and kind of push the boundaries a little bit of that. So I love like the reverbs, I love the panning of vocals, like it kind of, you know, once the reverb and everything's attached, like then you get to play with your space a little bit more. Like, I don't know, yeah, production is just a really interesting little puzzle for me that it helps my artistry. Do you remember things like tips and stuff when you mix like certain people's vocals and stuff like that? Like, do you get like used to mixing like people's voices, like say like you and Derek, or certain things that you find like nuances and tips and tricks, like your voice? This is all definitely from experience, because even when I was going to school, I didn't get much because I didn't know much. So like whatever they were talking about, I didn't really understand. I just kind of did. Gotcha. And then coming out of school, I started to experiment with it more. And you know, people's voices are different. So so like vocal produce, you gotta take out that low end just a little bit and kind of see where this person's sweet spot is for their voice. Like how do you hear them like in real life versus how you want to hear them like on the radio, and sometimes also having another track, like a reference track, helps. Putting like hearing, like let's say you put a J. Cole track on there, you want your voice to kind of sound like his, like then you can like compare and like take off things, add things on, and kind of reference his voice with yours, and then at some point it's gonna kind of mimic that space. See, like that to me is like some real like, I'm like, wow, I lost him there. Like that's sauce. But yeah, no. But I honestly I feel like it's needed though, like having like that knowledge, you know what I'm saying? Like can really expand a lot of artists. Like I feel like their like ability to sift through their creativity, you know what I mean? Because like you use those tools to make it sound the way you want it to sound. Right. So it's like if you kind of can get that vision in your head, you can use those tools to craft it to be closer to that, you know? And that's where it's at. So I've always known, like once I got a little bit more into music, that's what I needed to achieve like deeper sounds. And then like, you know, that's when I met Mari, and then Mari was like he just started to get into it, you know what I mean? He wanted to get into producing sounds and making music and all that, and I was like, yo, I'm into that. Like I'm into that. I'm just like, this other side of it I haven't really dabbled into, but I've started to learn that like that's what's needed to like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like at that time I was thinking about going to music school myself, because I was like, man, like how am I gonna like figure out this next step of like music? But luckily at that time, like I felt like there was a lot of other things I had to figure out in the next step of like communicating like through art in that way. Like that's when I like switched on major to communications. So it kind of like opened me up to like I had a storytelling class.
Okay.
And I didn't know that was within the same major. Like basically, you know what I mean? But then when I understood that, I was like, wow, like you could be like a rapper or like an artist, and you could teach at a college or something and teach a storytelling class based on if you went to school, got your degree, like basically, you know what I mean? Like that kind of put into perspective to me, like there's like elemental skills in doing this that like people recognize in other mediums and fields. And that's when I was like, okay, then dive in this. It seems like that's what you're into. You know what I'm saying? So like that's kind of where that my bag fell into that, where I was like, I felt like there was something there for me to get into, the same way there's something in the other end for people to get into to help build their craft. Like I was like, okay, like learning these key elements could help you like write a script someday or like some,
totally.
You know what I mean? Like,
storytelling is big, especially just like writing music or doing films and stuff, like for sure. But you know, there's also the like learning music theory. That's like learning music theory versus production. Like
I definitely tried that and I did not pass. Like I remember I definitely like I had to quit. Like I tried it too in
tough.
college, like, and I was like, damn, like this is really like, so these, it was just the notes, and honestly, but I feel like it's something that like it definitely from what I've seen, it helps, especially when people play instruments, you know what I mean?
For
because
sure.
it helps like your base knowledge. Like I know like I only know like a little bit of music theory. I do know mostly only relates to piano, and that has always helped me like finesse through like a lot of things when it comes to piano. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's a lot of general things I see. Like if you lock in with that theory, you can then apply to like other shit. Like, you know, basically when it comes to chords and shit like that, if you can put a couple of different chords together and arrange them in different ways at different speeds, you're doing something.
Yeah, I mean, the piano is a great way to start. Honestly, that's like the base place to start, because you know the piano is your band. Like you got rhythm, you got bass, you got your little higher notes, guitars and stuff like that up there already. That if you know the basics of doing that, you can go pretty far. But the thing is that like it's a whole nother language basically. It is.
That's why theory. I mean, like it's a legit other language.
Yeah, like it's gonna take a couple of years, to really be good at it, and that's if you're just on it.
But I feel like, it's wild because there's a lot of examples of people like great artists that like didn't even know music theory. Like it's wild when you and they be like, nah, like I didn't, like I learned this and that from this person and that person, because it's like that's the wild part about it. Like I feel like experiences like that made me feel a little more musical than I was like at times, because at times I really didn't feel like I had like any sauce with it at all. But then there was a lot of artists that I really looked up to that was like, okay, yeah, like we learn by like ear for the most part, you know what I mean? And it's kind of like I see how like the backing of that with certain other musical talent could get you somewhere. Like I feel like the technical part about it really has to do with the recording and engineering, because like, you know what I'm saying, because you're mixing whatever sound you're playing, so it's like you could play sounds, arranging sounds. I feel like there's like there's a root, how do you say, like there's a root intrinsic feeling to that, where it's like you can arrange some sounds in a way that make people feel something and people could get on that. But then mixing that sound and like getting into that, I feel like that's a different bag, where it's like it definitely takes like, that's really a different language. Yeah, I feel like music sometimes can be a universal language that like you can learn it through rhythm. You know what I'm saying? Like through like rhythms and keys and notes. For sure. Like it's like so Stevie Wonder type shit did it because he's dead ass blind. Like
yeah, it's just the feeling. At the end of the day, it's like, what do you
like
got?
His senses are also heightened because you know
is that an actual thing?
Yeah, like if you lose one of your senses, like your other senses are actually heightened, like on some scientific shit. For real?
Yeah,
I heard that it's like, I heard it's not like superhero, like it ain't like on some movie shit where you're like, but it is like you basically, because you rely on them more naturally, right? So you're gonna be stronger. You know what I'm saying? Like
that makes sense.
So like if you're smelling and shit to figure out like what room this is,
you sense more.
You're using it more than what I'm using it for. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not tripping on like when I walk in this room. I might not even smell what it smells like when I walk in the room. They're like, you don't smell that? Like, you know what I mean?
It smells like shit out here.
Like, damn, I couldn't even smell that. Like,
no,
like they're like, no, yeah, this smells different than where this just smelled like type of shit. Like, but that's so like funny. How they define it. Like
That's cool.
Yeah, we don't really define places by that, or like by like the way it feels. Like we're just like, it looks like this. Like, this is how it looks. Like
we don't have to sweat it.
We don't have to be like, nah, that's not the right. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, it's something else.
But if I did,
buddy, that's not a
table. If I did, I feel like my shit would be stronger though. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm in constant I'm in constant use of that. Like,
there was a musician though that did like they have to put like a bar in their mouth, like a metal bar, and they played. I don't know if that was Mozart. Forgot.
What was it for though? Like to play
the piano. They like it was like a long time ago, but like one of like the really really like great artists.
I want to play the harmonica and sing one day, like how they have those things on their thing.
That'd be fun. I used to play the violin.
I used to play the harmonica, but I've never had one of those things to like have it tied on you. Like I always thought that would be so hard. Like
the people who like play the guitar and the harmonica at the same time, those are so impressive. But I'm like, that's so much gear.
Yeah,
that's already so much gear.
Like
there's the technical side to that, which is, that I haven't even.
But now I'm for the super duper pressing questions.
What's the pressing questions? Dun, dun,
Your
dun.
album.
Oh shit! Oh yeah, that's right.
How did you like come up with it? Like, what's the concept behind it? And also, like, why would you name it Same? Like, what's the?
So okay, so
the
when
meaning.
I first put this together, there were just songs that I just had flailing around. Like I just kept making these songs, and these songs were like in the span of like 2 or 3 months of making them. But like I wasn't really planning on putting together an album. But then I listened back to them. I listen to my songs a lot, like after I make them, and then I was like, oh, these songs can come together. So then I was like, fuck it. Like this was 3 years ago. I'm gonna put all these songs together. And I produced all of them. It was COVID, so I had nothing else to do but make music, and I was going insane, so I had to do something about it. So then, I put that together, figured out a name, and how I did that was just, I was like, what is this? What are these feelings that are like put together? And then there was just something that I always said. It was same. It's just like such a regular thing. Like someone says something, you're like, same.
Oh, I get it now.
Yeah, it's kind of that. I didn't even think
about it like that.
Yeah, so like.
Same.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, all right, so like this is like a relative feeling. Like this is something that like people kind of would hopefully relate to. So that's exactly the ending of it. It's like, same.
Damn, that's hella profound, because I feel like it's like it kind of gets at the idea of being human.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because it's like when you really being vulnerable and expressing yourself, like, what is anybody else gonna say? But like, same.
Exactly. No, yeah, that's really where that came from. Like,
that's cool.
That's cool. And then the concept wise though, or like what it means, I had a really tough time, like figuring it out, because I don't know what my songs mean until after I write them. Like, I don't really go in with a topic. It just kind of, it's a diary, so like it just kind of comes out. So then I like really sat down with myself and was like, what does this really mean? And what I realized first is that like when I was young, I looked for love. Like I thought I had I did like have the best family that I thought I could have. But then as you grow older, you kind of like reflect back on it. And then you think that, damn, like, that's something that I was like, I didn't get from my parents. Like my parents were always out working all the time. So they were never really around. So to me, I'm like, all right, I'm looking for people who can be around me. So I always had like best friends around, but I was always that person who was in a relationship out of my friend group. Like every other year, like who knows, like it's high school. So like you're just looking for love in different places, and then you kind of experience these people and you're kind of picking yourself back up from those people. Like you're finally like, all right, this is what I like from you and what I can relate to. Like you're picking up habits from these people that that were just passing through your life, and that you were like, all right, I want to get to know you. And then at some point, it's funny though, because as you listen to these tracks, I can relate them to specific partners that I've had, and that I've had like 3 others before, and then I was like, oh damn, that's how I felt in this relationship, that's exactly how I felt in this other relationship, and then so on. It was really weird.
Did you? And it wasn't like planned. Like you just thought all. These were the songs, and then as you like assess what they were meaning, they were that. Like it wasn't like I'm gonna take this song kind of relates to that. This song relates to that. So I want to put it. Yeah, that's
there was
cool.
nothing. There was no plan of like what it was supposed to be.
I feel like it's happened to me in both ways. It's happened to me for sure in the way where it's like I don't know, and then I look at it and it's like this. That's usually how it happens, and how I'm making a song and how I'm making an album too. Mm-hmm. Like I'll look back and I'll be like, damn, this is kind of what I'm getting at, or what I'm expressing as a whole. But never have I had it where it's like, damn, these are like 3 like different situations, but they all like relate thematically because how they're like being expressed about the different situations. Like that's kind of cool because it's like they're interconnected, but they're interconnected in a way that's not like 1, 2, and 3 like directly like beginning, middle, and end. It's not supposed to be for
these people, but it just kind of summarized the feeling that I was lost in when I was dating these people. But then like because my this album gradually goes to me actually finding my happiness. Like finding myself and not necessarily not needing anyone, because I still love to love and I love people who love me. Like that's really cool. But like there's a sense of like it's like a life. It feels like a run through of my life so far until this moment. It's just I want to be happy, but I have to be happy with myself first. So there's this there's a track, it's a 7-track album, and as you go along, like the last track is actually called Happy. So
I know that song.
Yeah, so that's the last track, and that's exactly like where I've
But that's
come
cool though, because I see how that song fits into like the idea of like being contrasting to the other songs. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like I see how it could be like a happy ending type shit. Like it's like it's good, like it's straight, like it's like pure vibes. Positivity like in that joint. But I can see how in comparison to like the other songs in there, it's like coming from that to that point. Yeah, because
I've performed 2 of my songs out. Actually, 2, which is Losing is on that, and then I don't wanna be alone is on that too. So those 2 songs are completely like love based. Yeah. But then you hear that other song and it's like, oh shit! Like as you gradually listen to the album, you're just like, holy shit! Like she's come to herself.
That's cool.
Like that was not what I was intending to happen, but it's really cool that it kind of works.
I know what you mean like that, because I feel like as artists, that's honestly how it happens when you start creating like over periods of time. Like it always seems to come together in that way. Like at least for me, even like other times I feel like I've been more accepting of it and I was more with that goal. Like I was like, all right, like you're expressing all this shit, you're trying to get out what's happening, like in the album, what's happening. Like I'm trying to gauge what's happening. And then in past that, like with the other tape, it was more so like it was like a group effort. So it was like it was called what's it called, TCV1D. Okay. So it's kind of like Training Camp Volume 1. Okay. And that was more so about like, but it was weird because it was same thing where it's like, it's about like that idea, but what was captured in it and what ended up being the way it was structured and what was like, based on was like those other elements of like heartbreak that I was going through in the time of like collaborating with someone that you're with, and at the same time trying to put that into the music and doing it, making the music with the person, with the people, and like, but that being a part of the training camp, but then also that being a part of the training camp of life, like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're in training, like you're literally like, this is like a part of like what's gonna make you into the next part, you know what I'm saying? So it's
you're working out your
I didn't think of it like that in what I was doing, but it came to be that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like when you started looking at all the songs, you're like, okay, this is very much like some youthful ass like energy, like shit you were sorting through, you know what I'm saying? And then like as I got to this is where I was like, I didn't want to accept what it was, because I felt like I was going through a lot. Like looking through the Tree Styles tape, like as a whole, I was like, damn, I was going through a lot of shit, bro. Like
what was happening?
You know what I mean? But because it was going through the pandemic. Like we started recording it like right before the pandemic. Like basically all I was going on was that like, the cementing of a breakup, more so like, but trying to move on from your first real breakup, but at the same time the world all going on, and then that being a realer factor, right? You know what I'm saying? Realizing that like, all this shit you sad about, lovey-dovey, yada yada, is one thing, but like if we're all gonna die, nigga, that shit don't matter. Like exactly. So it's like that on my brain, like combined with like, you know what I'm saying, like everything else, I felt like I didn't really want to accept whatever sentiment I was pushing out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't want to listen to it and be like, okay, that's like my album. So much to the point where I feel like I came into it initially when we first moved being like, yo, I need to come up and make a solo album, like one that's like really about my life and shit, which I still want to do, but I was trying to rush it because I was like, I wanted to put out like a sentiment about myself. You know what I'm saying? When it's more so like you have to live life and those things will come. Like, you'll make songs and those songs will encapsulate your life, and you'll start to put them in a sense where it's like, oh, this is that type of album. And then I realized I'm just not trying to accept wherever that was where you were at. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you made all that because that's the state you're in.
Yeah, that was
and
the
like
moment
now you
got
to sort through that and pick the best shit of that and be in that moment and put that out and then move on to the next moment. So now when I look at that shit, I feel like it goes in that way where like it starts off on some very like kind of just like good morning, you know, like very like
that's
positive,
cool.
like goofy
that's
shit. But then it's kind of like comes into like as it comes into like much more like, how do you say, like trials and tribulations, like more trying times. Like there's by the time you get to the third trilogy of the album, I feel like I'm talking about my problems. I'm talking about, I have a whole song on there, See Me, where I'm talking about as if it's like you're speaking to a crowd of people at a podium about like what's wrong with you, like about everything that's wrong with you. Like I'm not here just saying like I'm not a good person on a song, but I'm like expressing that emotion to try to see, like, you know what I'm saying, like how far you could take that, like being like, you know what I mean, like being vulnerable. All right,
no, it's tough.
And then like, but then I get to the end and it feels kind of what you're saying, that like the very last song is called Patiently Fun, and it's because it's about cool. Like, in the way it is, I feel like I finally just learned how to have fun. Like it's like going through all the freestyle. It's like in this one, it's like you're trying to get this emotion off, and in this one, it's like you're trying to be as like abstract as possible as you can. And I feel like it ends in me like just having fun,
right? Yeah,
and like finding that out, that being like that's like your truest self right there. Just like. And it takes a while, like it's patient, like, you know what I'm saying, like you build up to it, but you'll feel it when you get to that point. You'll be like, oh, I'm having pure fun right here, like I'm not like I'm not trying, like I'm, you know what I'm saying,
and it comes out in your music, like you don't even realize it, and you don't realize that you're even just writing your own path while you're
like, I feel like I was working through that era of like expressing to get shit off of, bad feelings off of me, and then I was coming into the era of like expressing to just like, because I enjoy making music, like you know what I'm saying, like, and not so much so just because it's like, damn, I got all this shit on me, I gotta get off. Like.
Yeah, I mean, it's like manifesting something. Like you just talk about the bad shit, and so the bad shit will come back and bite you. Like once you start analyzing and really trying to like see what's happening within you, then, you know, slowly you'll grow and like you'll be the positive self, or be the self that you need at that moment, and like fly with it. Like now, having fun, Patiently Fun is really cool. Like that's a dope title, just because like
it's also a really long song.
Is it?
That's why it's named that.
I'm dead. Just the complete opposite.
It's both, but yeah, see what I'm saying? Like you don't plan
cool.
things to mean like what they end up meaning, but they still mean that.
That's dope though. Yeah,
like, it had to do with that, like it being a really long song, a freestyle, us really liking it, and then being like, well, like me being like on some like, I don't know, bro, like I was like, I don't know, like, this might be too long, like, and he'd be like, nah, I really like it, like Morgan, like, nah, I like it, and I'm like, so
back.
What's it gonna be like? So then the way we made it be was be like, all right, it's Patiently Fun, like on some like, we'll put it at the end, and it's like you really got to be patient.
It's pretty
to
ironic.
Get to it. Like, you get what I'm saying? Where it's almost like, like if you patient enough to make it to this point, or any patient enough to listen to this song, there's a like the best verse on there is like at the end of that song.
Damn,
you know what I'm saying? But it's like it's patiently fun. Like it's fun if you have patience.
That's for sure. Yeah, like it takes a while to come into yourself. Like that's what we're trying to be, is just to be happy with ourselves. So like, if you can balance that and just having a good time, like not really, I mean, you care about certain things, but not everything. Like you've got a good handle on things. Like it seems too, like as someone who's been hanging out with you, like it seems like you've come to yourself slowly. Like in the midst of all the craziness
I've
that
definitely
happens.
gained a lot of resolve about my life and self. Like I feel like me in the last year would definitely make a lot more brash decisions, and it would be a lot on the schedule, almost like not often,
but it
would be pretty like recurring. Like, you know what I mean? It would be like once a year I'd make 2 or 3 brash decisions. Like, but now I feel like I've definitely like toned it down and like made it to a point where I'm like, you know, like I know how to like heal myself in and like just brace myself for the next steps and start to maneuver to the next steps, because I know that there's so much steps in life,
for sure,
and like this shit does not ever end. So you have to like continually be just like able to like keep moving. Like one thing I've learned is like keep moving. Like you're not gonna just, like lose it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's one thing I've always felt like where like I've always felt like this, and I got this from basically being in the studio. I don't know if you feel like this in recording, where sometimes like motherfuckers get mad, which you do need to record a lot of different takes, because like you'll find like gems, but sometimes like I would miss it, you know what I'm saying? Or I'm just rapping and it's like this is not for like a take, like I'm just doing it. But I've always said to everyone, like, no, bro, like we have enough shit, like we're not gonna lose it, like, you know what I mean? Like I always live by that, bro. Like you're not gonna lose that, like it's not gonna just fall out of you. Like you have like 8 of those songs, you know what I mean? Like inside of you, like if you think that was just the one you have probably like 12 more of those
for sure, in the back. And then you get better as you go on too, so like
you know, like you're never gonna like outright lose that.
That's also a thing too, is like that I learned at school. Someone was just like, don't baby your songs. Like, don't treat them like a baby just because, you know, you got more in the vault. Like, you're never going to run out of this. Yeah, you're not. Like, you're also just learning through life. So, like, why even just go for one thing? Like, why make one thing the best thing you can make when you don't know what's coming? That's what I think about life. It's like, you never really know what's next. And so the steps that you're talking about is like, I get it. Like, sometimes I've literally gone on Twitter and, like, tweeted, I think I just leveled up. Kind of like things. I'm just like, what's happening with my life? But it's really cool. Like, what I'm accepting it as it is, and not questioning it.
No, yeah. I mean, this is perfect for the last 15 minutes. So she's perfect segue, my G. And shout out to this B right here, because you just said what you said about leveling up has to do with the next chapter, and that's usually what we kind of talk about at the end of the pod. Is like, and that's literally what you're kind of like getting at, is that like in life, I feel like even when starting this and trying to figure out the name, that's why we named it that, because we felt like this in a little bit different than like our other pod where we like interview people and, you know, mostly try to figure out them, you know, freestyle. It's like a collaboration of what's like going on. In this, it's a little bit about like being in the next chapter in life, that second journey, that like that point where it's like, man, you felt like you've been through a lot, and now certain other things are starting to happen, that the journey's not over, but you could just tell it's like I've leveled up, quote unquote. Like I've made it to like this second chapter of shit that I got to do in the video game. Like,
yeah, I mean, leveling up.
So how's that been for you?
It's been really interesting, because a bunch of like my time, especially during COVID, was just like healing myself from just traumas, like healing myself from traumas, healing myself from my mom passing away. Like I definitely didn't want to feel that for a while. So then it came back around and bit me in the ass, and I had no choice but to deal with it. So then I kind of told myself, hey, like, you got to be better. You got to like present yourself better, in a sense of like I don't want to limit myself. As a human being, it's just like trying to, you know, keep picking up pieces that I find from other people and like piecing myself together that way, and then finding what works for me and what doesn't. Music wise, it's, you know, just I'm gonna have that album. I'm gonna like figure out more marketing stuff, because that's really what what I got to do. And like as an independent artist, figure out what works for me. And I mean, yeah, same comes out August 1st. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun time.
You know, I'm pretty sure No Time to Meditate, probably your first time hearing this. Monday and Speakeasy's album comes out July 22nd. July 22nd. So July 22nd.
I
believe, if that's a Friday. I think that's the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but you know, look out for that. And then, you know what I'm saying, not like in like the next 3 weeks, got Fran album coming out.
We're just going off. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's a great year. Like I haven't had a year like that in a while, where, you know what I'm saying, everyone that I'm collaborating with, making music with, all has projects that are on or about to come out. They all coming out. Like it just feels like
there's a bunch
dope.
of people.
Like,
yeah,
it feels really cool. Like, you know what I'm saying, and that's a great part about it, because I already know it's about to be like a good end of the year. Like it's gonna be a solid end of the year when we all, like, you know what I'm saying, do some shows together, get our songs out together, and then we start like you know what I'm saying, working on a few things. They're working on like performing, getting a fest together, but also even the sense of like making an album like with all of us. You know what I mean? Like we've all like I dibble dabble with that idea when we made the TC. You know what I mean? But that was like training camp. That's why I was volume 1 because we always knew like eventually we'd like make some type of different rendition of that on like a bigger scale. That was just like what we had at the moment. You know what I mean? Like it was like my college place that I was at. No one was there because it was winter break. We were able to go back and just have the place to ourselves and make music for like an extended period of time. And it was like that, you know what I'm saying? I feel like was like the birth of what this is gonna grow into.
There's something about this year too that just feels like it's gonna be a pushing forward. Like there's something about it. Like, you know, just coming into it, I was like, damn, we're gonna fucking make shit happen this year. Yeah,
because I feel like everybody's like in the same sense of like, how do we say, like everybody's in the same place of like pushing forward, and then also we're all working towards the same goals in multiple areas of life. Like it's a lot of different people and all around. Like shout out to everybody that has helped, you know, like facilitate this year, you know what I'm saying? Palms Up, Academy, Artist Ave, like all of those people that have helped like facilitate the things that have happened for us this year, like performing, getting out, you know, TGAF Universe. Shout out to like literally though. So I'm saying like everybody like with the platform and they're like, you know.
Everyone's good, giving off good vibes. And honestly, like I'm not trying to like go out of my way to make friends anymore. Like the energy that I have, I feel like is coming, is you're bringing the people who I need in my
Toledo
life.
And the boys in Long Beach. I remember doing that show with you, and like the reaction that people had at that show was crazy.
That was crazy.
Like,
I went to church that day.
That was like a monumental, I remember, like moment in the year. Like I just remember seeing that and just being like, damn, like, because that was at a time where there was like a hella shows. Like it was like a bunch of shows in like 2 weeks, and I just remember like that time being like, damn, like really like pulled up somewhere 2 hours away, and like a bunch of people we never met and like loved that shit. Like and then just, I was like, man, that's what it's about. Like
that was really fun. I mean, thank you for inviting us. I would have like not known about it at all, but that shit was very cool.
Yeah, that was shout to Toledo and his events. He throw events and the Kill the Poet podcast they got going. Yeah,
but no, this year we're gonna be going up and up and up. I have no doubt about it.
What's it called? I also want to know, I mean, do you have any like future plans to drop anything, like, you know, outside you've been working on? Because I know Same is something you've been in, had the works for a while. Like anything like outside of that I know the Franny packs.
I mean, right. I'm thinking about having more merch for sure. So Same comes out on August 1st. I have shows on June 29th. And June 29th is going to be at Harvard and Stone. July 8th is going to be at the Canby in Northridge. We have a cool little 2-hour set there, so that's going to be fun. I'm going to be with my band for both times. And then the 15th of July, we're going to be at Queer Mercado. And then, we just, we're going to keep announcing more shows.
Shout out to the band, too. I feel like in the last, like, we still got 7 minutes.
Axel,
we gotta talk about the band.
Nate. Yeah, they're killer. I just texted them.
How did you meet them?
Oh, we all went to school together. So we kind of knew of each other. But then one of the homegirls, Leslie, she contacted Seth. And then I think Seth and Axel. And Nate, I think, but like somehow we all just like ended up working together and playing for Gray's Multimedia, Gray's Music Bash. So that was our first gig together. So from then on, like it was last year, I think. So from then on, we've just been playing together. And these guys are super nice and super supportive. And like, they're like, I just like want to be there with you like through the journey. So like that like holds a lot in my heart, holds a big part of my heart because they believe in this.
And that's beautiful, low-key. I mean, on some, like, divine tree shit to, like, put all together. Like, that's how I feel like I've been connected to a lot of people I've met. Like, it's, like, same with Mauricio. Like, I went to school with him. I didn't really know him there until, like, a little bit after. And it kind of just worked out. Like, you kind of around people and you don't really realize that, like, you're going to gravitate to these people and they're all meant to, like, meet and shit like that.
Yeah.
And it happened, bro. Like, look at this. Like, we went to high school together. Didn't even know each other in high school.
Me. Speakeasy.
Speakeasy.
About it, like
Derek, I did know Derek in high school. Like I meet Speakeasy for sure, knew each other, but he's like the one person that I knew in high school out of all of us. Like,
right. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, we all went to the same high school, and then look at us now.
Yeah.
Like,
and we didn't even hang out outside of high school either. Me and Derek, because he didn't live there, so we only kicked it like in that sport. Like in track, we would just talk and freestyle.
Yeah, that's so crazy. Yeah. And then life was just like, y'all need to reconnect.
Well, yeah, because it was like when you look back, it was like that was some monumental like times in our life, at least for like deciding to make music.
Yeah,
like, you know, that was both in our like figuring out like, oh, we want to do this as like our career
thing. Yeah,
like,
that's so cool.
So it's like that's why it always stuck as being like, damn, bro, like we both like. We're talking about that with each other, like at that time, like cultivating it, like. And
then we're just making it happen.
And then years later, when we meet, we both doing it. It was like, bro, that's crazy. Like,
that's so fun. Like you never know. Like some people fall off, and that's the thing about music is like it's a long ass journey. You don't know how much you're gonna make. There's no like specific way to do these things. Like. It's a gamble, but like I'm willing to do it.
That shit is not as much of a coincidence as I thought. Like, because I just started seeing like many people. I mean, also a lot of people got more into music because it got popular, but I did see like many people that I knew throughout other facets of life, like on the same type shit. Like, you know what I mean? And I was just like, oh damn, like maybe this means something. Like maybe this isn't transcending the kind of people personality that I was like getting along with, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that I was relating to, like whatever this was, like we have similar of is something like it's there because there's a similar thread between all these people that I've known from whatever I've known. They all ended up choosing this path. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, we look at something in life the same way.
Like there's a goal here. There's for sure a goal here. Like we haven't achieved it yet, but it's gonna come. Like, yeah, there's something bigger and better. There's something bigger for us out there.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, man. So it's been a good ass show, and hopefully, you know, I hope you guys, you know, enjoyed everything that we had to offer today. I'm sorry about the musical, you know, opportunities, but it's all good. You know what I'm saying? We'll be back again with some jams. You guys got a great ass interview with Fran and me.
Thank you for having me.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like one thing we didn't talk about is the weather lately, but the weather today is also still gloomy. So
we talked about it earlier.
No, yeah, we talked about like the weather, like, you know what I'm saying, like over the past month. Usually we do let them know what's going on outside of today, but
it's still gloomy and it's hot.
Still gloomy.
It's kind of hot.
Still gloomy.
I don't know what it is.
And I am gonna release the roll up video this Friday, so go check that out on the Vine Tree YouTube, and also check out Chris Sider's new album. Actually, man, I don't even think it was out the last time performed because it's like a month, you know, that we do this. So I think it wasn't out yet, actually, the last time we did this. So, man, make sure you go check out that Emancipation of Chris Siders. Fran's on it twice.
Oh, yeah.
What's the name of the songs you on?
It's called It's Okay and shit. I forgot the other one.
It's Okay.
It's Okay and the one that we always play.
No, not Be Okay.
No, It's Okay. And I'm sorry, but there's 2 songs we have on there, and it's really cool. It's fun working with them too.
It's Okay goes crazy. I love hearing that song. Another Sun.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Yeah, but hope you guys have a good day and peace out.
Bye.
Thanks so much, y'all. I gotta change this here up. Up next on K-Chung Radio, we have a special guest mix by Icarus Redux for the next hour or so. Follow us on Instagram, K-Chung Radio. Thanks so much for you guys turning out, and stay locked.
it's one thing to discover it, it's another thing to do it, and it's another thing to make it beautiful.